came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucs winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Aaron Rodgers and his people were like, they listened to our episode and they said, hold our cheesehead or coat.
Donovan Mitchell, who right now looks to be a superstar.
Just amazing. And I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
Yeah, that's not just the Chiefs. That's Andy Reid. He knows the defenses so well because he's such a great offensive mind.
Well, you said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life.
It just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up. And when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets. Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's 2 of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year, and they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our 84th episode. Today we'll be doing MLB Trade Deadline predictions. Even though a lot of names have already gone, Joey Gallo, Rizzo, Scherzer, and Turner, there's still a lot more names, so we have a specific list. And make sure to check out our last episode where we talked about the expansion draft and gave a review of who won that predictions video. And now we are doing another predictions with the MLB Trade Deadline predictions. And it's pretty easy, similar to what we did for the expansion draft, is if you pick the right player to the right team, it's a point. So that's no long division, multiplication, calculus involved. It's easy. So, Austin, let's talk about the first player, who is Craig Kimbrell, who is yet to be traded as we are recording this.
I think he stays. I have Kimbrel staying with the Cubs. He's one of the 3 players I think will stay where they are of the many players we have. And so I think Kimbrel stays with the Cubs, and I get 1 point if he does.
That is, that's bold to me because I see the Cubs are like, okay, we're tearing it down. Let's get rid of everyone. So I have them trading him to the Red Sox. I think Red Sox are going to go after Kimbrel, just add another closer to help them out in high situations, which they will probably face. So that's who I have him going to. But now let's move on to Michael Pineda. Who do you have him going to, or does he stay?
I do not have Michael Pineda staying. I think he goes to the Rays. I think the Rays look to add another starting pitcher, and especially with not knowing how long Tyler Glasnow will be out, and them obviously trading Ray Rich Hill, I think they add another starting pitcher here and get ready for the playoffs with Michael Pineda.
That is a good trade. It makes sense. Just for the Rays, I think they just promote Baez, and he comes up and pitches. But I have Pineda going to the Angels because they need a starting pitcher. And if they can trade someone away, and if you just get another starting pitcher, they may just go, hey, we got Ohtani and Trout, healthy Trout. Let's just see what happens. The top 2 players in the game right now, right? Or
when healthy.
One healthy. So just, hey, let's go for it. So that's why I think they just go with Pineda. We just need another starter behind Ohtani. That's who I think they go with. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I do have the Angels getting a pitcher, but that's down the line. I do think they have to make a move for one, so we'll get to that when we do.
All right, now we go to another starting pitcher. That, of course, is Kyle Gibson. And then, so I'll let you say where he is going.
So we all heard, or at least I heard, the Mariners were mad about the players were mad at the organization for trying to rebuild in the middle of a great season. So I have the Mariners trading for Kyle Gibson. I think they try to get another starting pitcher to match up with their other starting pitcher who was an All Star, and they go all in on this season while they're playing well. And if you can just get a wild card spot, we've seen it before. You can go all the way. And so I think the Mariners go all in, trade for Kyle Gibson, and that's the move I have Kyle Gibson going to.
I almost had Kyle Gibson going to the Mariners because I heard about the rumors, but I do not have him going to the Mariners for this reason: the Scherzer trade. You heard the Padres were going to get Scherzer, then the Dodgers swoop in. And of course, AJ Preller used to be in the front office with John Daniels, so I have him going after Kyle Gibson so they get a starter because they do need a starter. And while Gibson's not as flashy as Scherzer, they did come from the same college. So that could be quite a rivalry when they meet in the playoffs. So I have Gibson going to the Padres. Now the next player we have is Ian Kennedy, also of the Rangers. What do you think happens to him?
So this is the Angels I was talking about. I have Ian Kennedy going to the Angels. I think they try to pick up another reliever. They obviously have a great one there, but I think if they add another reliever, that'll help them out closing down games. You can't have the same reliever closing out every game. And with Raziel Iglesias pitching well, if you add Ian Kennedy, who's also having a career year, I feel like that can steady your bullpen.
That is very true. I'm going to disagree. I have Ian Kennedy going to the Padres as well. Just get another closer, and I think it's a deal with Gibson because Gibson hasn't been playing well as of late. But I think so. The Rangers, I think, combine them to get a better prospect. So that's my little deal with the Padres. Now we move on to Jose Barrios. Where do you have him going?
Yeah, so Jose Barrios, I have going to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, they've had a lot of starting pitching injuries, and like I said in a last MLB episode with Yadier Molina, growing on age, I think they also go all in on the season and try to better themselves by getting another starter.
That is an interesting choice. I have Barrios going to the Yankees, who need a starter. Because you've had the Yankees go after Gallo, Rizzo. I think y'all need another rotation. And I think Barrios fills it, and he's a young guy, so maybe he's part of your rotation for a longer term. Um, so that's what are your thoughts as a Yankees fan on that?
Yeah, that's an interesting selection. I would, like I mentioned, I wouldn't go with it, but I would understand why somebody in the organization would make that choice.
Now we move on to Daniel Hudson, the reliever from the Nationals. Where do you think he goes?
So I have Daniel Hudson going to Boston. This is a guy, the reliever, I think goes to Boston. He closed out the 2019 World Series and was a great player during that run. In this season, he's having another career year. So I feel like Boston goes after him. I feel like he'll cost less than Kimbrel while still performing very well. And I think that's why they do it. They don't want to give up too much. And while the Washington Nationals are tearing down their bullpen, I feel like they can grab Daniel Hudson, who, like I said, has experience in the World Series and will be cheaper than Kimbrel. So I feel like this is the move they make.
That's uh choice choice a good choice of words as you said cheaper because this team I have them double dipping and that of course is the Angels and I think it will cost a little bit more to get Pineda and then you get a cheaper option Hudson. I have them going with a reliever. So we both agree they need a reliever just to help with their pitching depth, but it's just a different reliever in our list right now. So now I think we can move on to Brian Buxton, the injured center fielder for the Twins. Where do you think he goes?
So I have Byron Buxton going to stay. I don't think he moves on from the Twins, and I think he stays there. I feel like the cost to get Byron would be way too much, and he's such a great player that I don't think anyone would be able to or willing to pay the price that would take to get him.
That is something we can agree on. I do think he stays. I'm not sure if anyone wants to overspend to get him, especially given the injury history, and hopefully the Twins hope they can work something out. I was tempted maybe the Cardinals, but they do have Bader, and I don't see the Cardinals making any moves right now, given their injuries and given what the Dodgers are doing with Scherzer and Turner. So I think they'll go, hey, it's not our year. Let's not make any rash decisions. So I have him staying as well. Now we go on to Chris Bryant. Where do you think he goes?
So I think Chris Bryant goes to the Brewers. I feel like they need another infield bat, and them trying to bolster their chances in the NL, which is really dominated right now by the NL West with the Padres, Giants, and Dodgers in no specific order, kind of controlling the entire league. So I think they make a move to get Chris Bryant.
So you think the Cubs would trade to their rival?
Yeah, we've seen it done before. We've seen many teams. The Mariners traded Kendall Graveman, their best pitcher, to the Houston Astros. So we've seen inter divisional trades recently, and I don't think that changes, especially with the Cubs trying to tear it down.
All right, that is an interesting choice. I have Chris Bryant going to the Mets. They, of course, have a new owner, Steve Cohen, who likes to spend some money, and I think they can add Bryant. Hopefully, they can sign him to extension, and then Mets fans will be pretty happy. And he also has some great versatility. So you can play him at third, right field, left field. I think he has played a little bit of center. So I just think the Mets go out for that bold move right now. But I think now we can move on to Whit Merrifield, as he is with the Kansas City Royals. Where do you think he goes?
So I think Whit Merrifield goes to the Cincinnati Reds. I have mentioned before that they need infielding and they need a good bat. And I think this may be the piece away from them having a chance of making the playoffs. And so this is the move I think they make.
Well, I disagree with you there. I have Whit Merrifield staying. I don't think they trade him. I don't think they can find a right deal. I was really believing in the White Sox, but since they got Cesar Hernandez, I don't think there's much of a market for Whit Merrifield, and the Royals may not want to part with him. So I have him staying. But now we move on to Josh Donaldson with the Twins. Where do you think he goes?
So I think that Josh Donaldson stays. I don't think anyone tries to pay the price that he'd be worth, and he does have some anger issues. He's had issues with the umps. He's had issues with opposing pitchers, and if one of those pitchers now plays on this team, he's going to be on. I don't feel like anyone would want to create that locker room potential for cancer or whatever it is that happens in the locker room that can kind of tear down your organization. So I feel like Josh Donaldson stays, and yeah, it doesn't get moved.
I believe he does get moved. And well, you said it's a big price. I think it's actually a little bit cheaper because he's 35. I see him going to the Phillies, who really don't have a deep farm system. So I think they can try to shoot for Donaldson, and they do need a third baseman, as Bohm has really started to fall off. And Donaldson has been part of a lot of playoff teams like the Braves. I'm pretty sure he was with the Nationals for a little bit, maybe after Rendon left. Am I correct on
Who?
that?
Who?
Donaldson with the Nationals.
Donaldson was never with the Nationals. I know he played for the
Okay.
Braves.
I thought he was with another team.
He was with the Indians. He's been with the Indians, Braves, and Twins. Those are his last three teams. All the teams that look just
Okay.
like each other.
Okay. I have no idea where Nationals entered into my mind. That's
I
weird.
mean, all those teams
But
are red and blue as well. So
yeah, that's probably what was messing with me. And Phillies, there's red. Is there some blue? There's some blue, right?
there's some blue. There's some blue. Enough blue.
Okay. So that's where I think he goes, as the Phillies want to add a third baseman. Now we can talk about Trevor Story. What do you think happens to him?
So I think Trevor Story moves on to the Yankees. We were talking about this beforehand a little bit, and I kind of hinted at it. And I think it happens. I think Trevor Story moves on to the Yankees, and they trade probably Esteban Florial and Lucas Gill and probably Torres. If they can also send over maybe another guy like Ryan McMahon to help fill out some other pieces. So maybe we just send one of those guys, and yeah, it's going to be a tough move, but I feel like it'll happen.
Well, I think I do agree he moves, but I think he goes to the Reds. I'm not sure with the Yankees if he will have quite the offensive production because of him leaving Coors Field, but Red Stadium is also a good alternative to Coors Field. So I think Castellanos, Winker, and Story would be quite a combination, and maybe they can pull off the upset in the NL and make a push to get the division title against the Brewers. But now I think we can move on to CJ Crone of the Rockies. Where do you think he goes?
So I think that CJ Crone goes to Boston. Boston, we know, needs a first baseman, and I feel like CJ Crone is a perfect fit.
You and I did not talk about this one, but somehow we agree. I do because they lost Rizzo to the Yankees, so I feel they go after a first baseman, and that's CJ Crone. So we agree
I
there.
think this is the second time we've agreed. I know we both have Byron Buxton staying, right?
Yeah, but you and I talked about that a little bit before the episode. This one is
True,
like
true,
absolutely no talk.
true.
So I think we've always agreed in at least one prediction, especially
Probably.
with trades or draft or whatever. It's been one. But now we can move on to Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Indians. Is the final person on our board. Where do you think he goes?
So I think Jose Ramirez goes to the San Francisco Giants. I think they make that move and they end up winning the World Series because of it.
You and I also didn't discuss this. Guess who I have Jose Ramirez going to?
The Giants.
Yeah, I do. I had Chris Bryant, but I was like, wait, Jose Ramirez has been doing better at the plate than Chris Bryant, and Jose Ramirez has more time.
So who
If
else did you
when
have
they
going to
trade
the
for him,
Giants?
as
Did you have
no one
someone else
else.
going to the Giants? Oh, okay, same. Okay.
No,
What were you
I was
saying?
considering Chris Bryant, but I was considering Chris Bryant to the Giants because I've heard the rumors. I was like, maybe they don't. I feel the Cubs would ask for a lot, and there's not enough years left. It's like a rental for Bryant, and I'm not sure if they would want to sign him. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with Jose Ramirez. And I was gonna caught you off guard because I thought you were gonna have him stay. But
Nope.
man, I thought I was gonna sneak up on you with that.
Yeah, so just a quick overview. I have Craig Kimbrell staying, Pineda to the Rays, Gibson to the Mariners, Kennedy to the Angels, Berrios to the Cardinals, Hudson to Boston, Buxton stays, Bryant to the Brewers, Merrifield to the Reds, Donaldson stays, Story to the Yankees, Crone to Boston, and Ramirez to the Giants. And then
Okay, so I have Kimbrel to Boston, Pineda to the Angels, Gibson and Kennedy to the Padres, Jose Barrios to the Yankees, Hudson to the Angels, Buxton stays, Bryant to the Mets, Whit Merrifield stays, Donaldson to the Phillies, Trevor Story to the Reds, CJ Crone to Red Sox, and then Jose Ramirez to the Giants. So Austin and I agreed 3 times on this. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this and what's the tiebreaker? If no one gets a point, do we just go no one won?
mm, mm. Um I think it'd be the magnitude of the trade. I think if somebody has a stay, more stays, I feel like that should be the tiebreaker. So if you predicted, because it's trade deadline, so you think that more people are going to go. So if you have somebody staying and I don't, and it ends up that you have somebody staying and I don't, but we both have 3 points, I think the person with the stay should win because staying is a lot harder to predict in my mind than a trade.
What if, what if, so that's a good tiebreaker. But what if the tie is 0-0? Nothing happened that we predicted.
Everybody loses.
Okay. I think that's a good thing. If no one predicts anything, okay. It would be
Everybody
in our
loses.
third column for
Yeah,
wins and losses.
everybody
It's
lost.
everyone loses. Yeah, that's good. I think that's fair. Let us know in the comments if that's fair. Make sure to check out our next episode where we'll be reviewing the NBA draft first round. And there's a lot to talk about with the trades and all that. So make sure to be on the lookout for that to hear our thoughts. Make sure to check out our interviews about Kelly Forbes and make sure to check out our next episode, as I talked about before, NBA draft review. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.